Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough. Forgive the messy hair today, but I thought we would just do a bit of a hobby hangout. I got a couple free hours now that the holidays are over. My goodness, what a roller coaster of a holiday, right? So I thought we would just hang out, excuse me, hang out and get some hobby done. I have a bunch of terrain that's all primed up, and we just kind of hang out and talk about whatever. I don't really have a topic today. I just thought we would kind of bounce around, and if you have something you'd like to talk about, go ahead and throw it in the chat. We can just have a cool day. Essentially, I just wanted to throw this out there that my holiday, in case you're curious why there wasn't a video today or why the video's kind of like slowed down, I had a very rough holiday. I'll be honest with you. I'm sure many people worldwide did because of what's going on in the world. But we had some friends pass away and that kind of stuff, and it was just a very muted holiday. So that's why things kind of slowed down for me. I just needed some time, which no one's ever been mean about. So anyway, I thought today we would get back into the groove, do some things that make us happy, and remember why we love living. So I'm gonna go to the downward cam here and flick this light on. And once the light of God decides to ease up on your eyeballs, we will get to some painting. Let's see. Let me move my chat to where I can see it. Give me just a hot sec here. All right, and we will get started. So, I'm just going to throw this out there every once in a while. If you like any of the terrain that you see me painting today, I have a link in the description down below. It's for 3D Egos. It's the guys who printed it for me. They're wonderful people. What I like about them versus other printers is that they offer like a guarantee, full money refund if something's not right or there's a part missing. But anyway, so we'll just get started cranking on these dudes. And yeah, so I got a few options here for us today. We got this cool like guard tower thing. Oh, thank you guys so much. I just saw your comments. Thank you. I wasn't looking for pity. I was more just explaining why I've been quiet lately. So, yeah, we got this one here. It's like a guard tower. We got this building, of which there are about 4,000 in the video game Morhaim, where it's blasted out on one side. I like it. I think it initially was part of a set that there would be another building here, so you could have like a nice passageway. That would be really rad. And all of this is in support of the Warcry games I've been playing lately. This is just a standard little tower, like a crushed stone building. And then I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys with 3D printing stuff, but like the buildings can be built in levels, and I have these two parts that don't go together, and I'm like, I don't know what these were supposed to be a part of, but I'm sure there's other pieces somewhere in the ether that they belong to. So we'll just get started with what we have here. Let me answer the questions here in order. Let me just get this stuff out of my way so I can focus. And honestly, it's just going to be mindless dry brushing today, so really more of a chance to hang out with people than anything else, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Great to see you live. Hey, PJ. Greetings from Ireland. Oh, nice. Thank you so much, buddy. Brent, what warband are you running? I have been running my Corvus Cabal. We've gotten 2 games in, me and my buddy. Let's see. We kind of slowed down for the holidays, obviously. For me, yeah, Corvus Cabal, and basically, so like quite a while ago now, I got it's not the Ogroid Myrmidon, it's the other one. Fulmoroid Crusher, that's his name. I remember they have like 3 different Ogroid type things for Warcry, and I have been dying to use him. And so in my second game, we're doing the Trial of Champions thing, and we're still using the last year's book because even though I pre-ordered it, my Tome of Champions never came in, and ultimately yesterday I just canceled the order with Games Workshop. I was like, I just go somewhere else. But so we're still using last year's Tome of Champions, and I finally got enough glory points to buy, because you have to spend glory for like each reinforcement that you add to your army. I finally got enough to add a Fulmoroid Crusher to my group. His name is Gurg, and he's going to be cool. He's going to be baller. I don't actually know if any of that's true. He might be terrible. But, honestly, the problem I've been having, so I'm playing Corvus Cabal. My buddy Robbie is playing Night Haunt. And the issue I'm running into is that, like, his spirit hosts are just blenders. And my little burb boys, they do not stand up to blenders very well. They tend to use terrain very dynamically, which, of course, Night Haunt do as well. And, it's I won one, he's won one, so we're both on game 2. We're going into our convergences probably this coming weekend. And, I mean, it's been going really, really well. What else? So anyway, I keep getting by the end of every round, whether I win or lose, like, I keep giving up that victory, the point condition where it's like, if your opponent destroys like a third of your army or something like that, like consistently giving that up because my dudes are made of paper and prayer. And so, I'm hoping to have some beef on the table, right? He's got like 30 wounds. He's a big old nasty thing. I really like it quite a bit. So we'll hope. I haven't put him on the table yet, but we'll hope that he kind of fills in some of the gaps for my Corvus. Because that's the thing. Like when I looked at the allies and that kind of stuff, like that was my eye always went to like, okay, so who can supplement whatever my faction is bad at, right? Which in this case, obviously, for the Corvus Cabal, they don't have a lot of damage output and staying power. They're more about playing to the objective, and they can drop the hammer and do some cool, crazy attack stuff, but a lot of that depends on terrain. So it is not a guaranteed thing. I will tell you though, if you are interested in playing the Corvus Cabal, man, they could pack a wall up. Like if you set things up right and you're smart about where you use your guys on terrain, the Harvey Birdman, attorney at Murder, like the guy who actually has the bird wings, the Shrike Talon, he is a boss. Like he's just the best. He's the all-star of that faction. He just like has movement 8 and he can just trounce everywhere. He can I don't know. He's like a Visa. He can be anywhere you want him to be. So he can play objectives. He can be a murder machine if you give him a triple, I think it is. Anyway, I like him quite a bit. Let's see. Oh, got some questions here. Mindless drive rushing is the best. Yeah, it is, Cody. I like it quite a bit. It gives me an excuse to hang out with y'all. Tyler, haven't tried Warcry. Still pretty new to AOS as a whole. I would love to see them bring back Mordheim, though. I'll be honest with you. Me too. I'm going to say I want them to figure out, them being Games Workshop, how they want to structure their boxed games and side games and that kind of stuff. Because, the closest equivalent product to product that Mordheim has is Necromunda, right? Like Warcry is the same, relatively same scale, but it's not the same thing. Necromunda is a much more accurate translation of fantasy into the skirmish game world, as far as like what Mordheim is. So the reason I say that is because Mordheim's going through a bit of a transition where they're moving away from the gang books, and then each faction gets their own codex, for lack of a better word. And they're cool. Like, I love the books. Every one of them is full of really cool lore and art, and it's not just your faction. It's always like extra things that, if your group has one, say, Goliath player, they can bring rules to the table that everyone can enjoy. And I love that kind of stuff. I think that's a fantastic business model, but it is also a really awkward transition because now you got a bunch of people with these books who are like, well, these seem useless now. The Gangs of the Underhive books and some of the other stuff that's being reprinted. So people are a little bit grouchy about it. But, if they were to settle on like, hey, this is how we want to run these kinds of games, and then release Mordheim where we wouldn't have that awkward growing pain alongside the launch of a new system, I'd be down for that. I would be super, super down for that. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose any comments. Smogtown, hey, what's up, buddy? Steve, hey Doug, how are you? Did you have a good Christmas? It was all right. It was a little challenging, but that's the same for many people, right? I'm not going to harp on it too much. It's been good to me and my wife. But thank you. I hope you had it going. Dawnstone is my friend. Yeah, I'm doing 3 layers. I'm doing Mechanica Standard Gray, Dawnstone, and Administratum Gray. This is always the longest one because it's just like the most boring gray. I don't even know why I'm doing the inside of these buildings. I can't fathom that I'm going to actually make someone... Well, I guess if I use D&D or something like that, you know. Whatever. Let's see... I need to get into Warcry. I just have so much to paint as it is. Absolutely. Well, one thing I can tell you, I've kind of eased off the throttle, if you will, when it comes to proper Age of Sigmar, like the full army scale game. Mainly because, quite frankly, one, not many people were playing games around here, obviously, because of COVID. But then also, it's just not as popular in my particular corner of Iowa. And so, that's fine. You know, honestly, like, the amount of time it takes to play a game is a bit burdensome on me. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to get really into Warcry. Warcry's picking up a lot of steam around here. Smaller table sizes mean you can play socially distanced a lot more easily. You know, just because you can, like, do your thing and then take a step back, that kind of stuff. And I've just been really enjoying it. Like, I've never been more excited for AOS as a setting and less excited for the actual full-scale miniature war game itself. You know what I mean? Like, I'll talk about it here in a second, but, like, I started, actually, with one of the viewers here. I don't know if he's in the chat, Biofoot. He was kind enough to let me hop into a Soulbound game, which I won't talk too much about because I kind of have a special video I wanna kind of break down once we get rocking and rolling. But yeah, it's just like exploring the mortal realms as a Excelsior War Priest. I love it. So I'm very excited. We did round 0 last night, where you kind of like, you know, make your characters and introduce one another and get familiar with the mechanics and stuff. So yeah, I'm very pumped about that. Anyway, so we can talk about that in a second, but you were talking about Warcry. Yes. The nice thing about Warcry when it comes to that hobby-ness that you talked about, though, Smogtown, is that painting a warband feels real good. Like, you can paint like 8 models and be like, I finished a thing. And there's nothing better than that, right? That small sense of completion you get. I'm all about it. Let's see. I've brought this up before, but my friend and I have been making 40k Warcry cards, calling them 40 Cry. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you a question, because that's super interesting, Richard. Sorry, no, not Richard. Brent, I'm sorry. The chat jumped around when I was looking at your name. How do you find the shooting elements? Because I would imagine Warcry with too much shooting could be a little bit non-interactive. Do you find that that's... Oh, I guess it's kind of the same as attacking, isn't it? Interesting. That's a cool idea. I like it. Hey, if you want, you're more than welcome at any time to shoot those rules to me when you feel comfortable with them, and we can do a player-made if you'd like to broadcast that out to people. I always like doing those. Besides, you know, every time they release a new Space Marine model, it's 40 Cry. My goodness, everyone complains. It is what it is. All right. Joey, been loving your Sigmar lore videos. Great work. Thank you so much, buddy. That's so kind of you. Yeah, there's much more to come. Like I said, I'm just kind of recovering from the holidays, but very, very soon I will have a whole bunch of new stuff. This week's a little bit shy, just because it's I work in advance, and so since last week was kind of the holiday week, there's the week afterwards always kind of suffers. But I'm very, very excited for what I got planned. Basically, I want to do... Y'all, at this point, I'm just going to transition into this topic. I am all in on Soulbound. Like, for me, I mentioned before, I did a video recently called My First D&D Experience. You know, and of course, it's not intended to be like some big grandiose, like, oh my god, you know, look at this cool new hobby I found. Guys, did you know that D&D is like a cool thing? You know, of course, I say this to a bunch of nerds who have been playing it for like 30 years. But it was my first experience with a role-playing game where you're collectively making a story. And I really had a wonderful time. And so I think because of what's going on in the world and not being able to play full games, outside of like Warcry and that kind of stuff, it was just the perfect outlet that I needed. So I'm extremely excited for that. Got in late, but glad to see this. Hey, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Biofoot. Everybody say thanks, buddy, for reigniting Doug's love. Oh, man. Let's see. Very excited for Soulbound. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. I can give you some of my thoughts. We actually just did character creation last night, and I'm going to walk through that in a dedicated video, just talking about like literally helping people build characters and that kind of stuff. But I will be honest, the character sheet looks a bit intimidating, if I'm totally honest with you. But the minute you start actually breaking it down into its different parts, it is actually very simple to understand. And I tried watching a video that Cubicle 7 put out themselves, with some of their staff just kind of explaining it. It was a little bit dry. It was also like 2 hours long, and it didn't need to be. And so I'm going to do my own, which is what we're going to call an abbreviated version to get you in there as soon as possible. I made a Fire Slayer Soulbound and a KO. Can't decide which to play. Nice. You know, it's weird that I feel like the Duardin factions are by far the most complicated because... so I said it earlier, I don't know if everybody caught it, I'm doing an Excelsior War Priest, right? Which is like, basically, hey, you like Sigmar, and hey, if you want, you can take a Gryph-hound. And I was like, I'm going to pass on the Gryph-hound initially. I can come back to him later, just to kind of keep the complexity down. I don't want to worry about a beast or anything like that, you know? So I kind of passed on it, but then another person in our group decided to be a KO, which is awesome, you know, diversifying everything. But they have like their own world of gear, but like between Carriage and Overlords and their like Ethermatic stuff, and then Fire Slayers with runes. I'm like, man, I'm glad I chose an easy one. If I'm super honest, I was like, here's your hammer, here's your Bible, here's your dog. That's it. That's the Excelsior War Priest outfit in a nutshell. Whereas the Ethermatic stuff is like, how much ether juice do you have to use this steam cannon thrice in a fortnight? And you're like, what the hell is going on? I was like, oh man, I dodged a bullet there. Laughs in Call of Cthulhu. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little behind the chat here. Let me just catch up here real fast while I'm just getting this done. Richard, Corvus Cabal are super glass cannon. Are you playing regular or Catacombs more? Just regular for now. I don't have my Catacomb stuff painted, and then the person I'm playing against, Robbie, he hasn't played a ton, right? I think he said 12 games max, something like that. And so we're just kind of taking it easy right now. I hope to finish one campaign before jumping into Catacombs. So that's my goal. Or one more campaign before jumping into Catacombs. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Although I will be honest, I'm excited for Catacombs because of what it offers Corvus Cabal in terms of, you know, the floor is lava and the walls are all terrain that I can use to do my special abilities and that kind of stuff. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Honestly, also, I kind of want to wait to play Catacombs until I have a full set of 3D terrain for it. I'm not even going to worry about the inside of these buildings anymore. I just don't think I'm ever going to use them, if I'm super honest with you. Let's see. Hello, everyone. A lot of hellos. Hello, hello. I'm still on the lookout for Fire Slayer terrain and KO terrain. Ooh. You know, I can't think of much, but I'll keep an eye out for you. Like I said, we're just doing some really boring dry brushing, but it's a perfect opportunity to just hang out. Why? Because it's mindless and we can chat back and forth. Much easier to chat like this than when I'm trying to kill 5,000 clan rats on Vermintide. Although I'll be honest, I have been sucked into Star Wars Battlefront 2 lately, pretty aggressively. Like, I got the old original version from 2005, like the Battlefront 2 from 2005, or maybe it was 2015. I don't remember. No, it was 2005 because I was still in high school. So I absolutely love that game, that older one. And then I saw that the EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 was on sale for like $11, and I was like, sold. And because I'm that guy who's like always 10 years behind on video games, just because I can't keep up with them. But yeah. I saw you tearing it up on Steam. Oh, yeah, because it's what I was playing it. Yep, basically. Have I played the Ewok? No, I have not yet. I'm basically going class by class and unlocking everything. So last night I finished up the assault stuff. I have all the guns and all the mods. And then I started the heavy. And the heavy is my favorite, by far. And this one's our super highlights, so this will go real quick. We're just kind of targeting areas that stand out and the corners. There we go. Let's see. Ewok has a bow and arrow. I know he also has like a bunch of like bugs that he throws at people that like melt them, and that's pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's see. Hope one day soon we get an AOS setting Tide game. Yeah, honestly, if I could wish list that game, here's what I would have it do. You ready? I would say basically make a video game version of City of Secrets. City of Secrets, if you don't know, is a book by Nick Horth, which is a fantastic read. I always suggest that for people who specifically came from fantasy. It feels like a very Fantasy Battles setting type book. But basically a Tzeentchian cult takes over a town, and one man with his pistols is there, to kick some tail. There's actually a couple characters, but you know what I mean. Just kind of that dramatic effect. I like it quite a bit. Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, should I feel bad for shooting an Ewok? I never do. I'm like, get the teddy bear! He has the stupid little bug things that make my life miserable. Kill the teddy bear! If you guys have ever seen the Futurama episode where they go to a factory that like makes cuddly teddy bears for Valentine's Day, and they're like, oh man, is it true that like every one of them is like this special, it gets a kiss from the creator before they go to sale? And he's like, no, it's much easier just to breed an actual teddy bear and then hunt him down. And so they have this whole zoo of just teddy bears that are being hunted by safari hunters. Let's see. Let's see. Hello, Doug. Hello, Doug. Hey, everybody. When are we getting that Blood Bowl coverage? Well, Corey, I would love to. I was kind of hoping that Games Workshop would send me a set, but they didn't, and that's all right. Let me get some stuff done with Warcry. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of been digging Star Wars Legion a lot lately. Let me get finished on some other projects, and then we'll jump in there. But I do want to, because I am excited for Blood Bowl. I do think it's a very fun game. It's probably it is equally the most fun and derpiest game that Games Workshop has ever produced. Okay. Let's see. Darktide looks like it's class 2. Yep, absolutely. Doug, you're the best. The best reason. Oh, thank you so much. Is it Palace Guard 01? Thank you. Let's see. Cody. Oh, yeah, I heard that one. Indie war game. I'm developing my own range of miniatures, and I'm just funded my first mini 100% with sales, not on my own budget. Just wanted to share that accomplishment. Aw, dude, I'm happy for you, buddy. That's awesome. Everyone give a firm hand clap. You're good to go, dude. That's awesome. I remember how weird it was when I had my first moment where like I achieved something, but it wasn't because of my own money. It was stuff that I made honestly through ad revenue on the channel, where you're just like, huh, just feels like next level. I feel like a big kid now. And this, in case anyone is cringing right now, this is specifically I call it the beater brush, where I just beat the crap out of it and treat it like garbage, because all I do is use it to apply base layers sloppily and liberally. And we're just gonna grab the wood planks here. I don't think all of them have it, but oh, that's what they do. They at least have doors. Yeah, nothing else. That's all right. Let's see. I was thinking the same. I want to do some Sigmarite and then just plow through Cultist and Excelsior. Oh yeah, that'd be a great one. Yeah. From that last story with Gordrakk that came out, my goodness, it sounds like Excelsior is going to have themselves an orc problem, and that would be the greatest of, Tide style games, as someone put it in the chat. Can you imagine? Oh man, can you imagine one of those types of games just with orcs, just like, oh man, that would be so cool. And they can call a wall and everybody yells, and oh man, that would be rad. Hard boys can be the new Chaos Warriors, like they are in Vermintide. Not even Ard boys, I guess brutes, right? Brutes would be the biggest. I don't know, but it'd be cool. I don't know how to structure this game, but I think it's going to be the best game ever made. That's my confidence level right there. Let's see. I'll die a happy man if they ever make a Sigmar Total War. Yeah. Let's see. Palscard 01. Doug, what's the chance they will combine all Duardin into a new Battletome Duardin? I think very unlikely, if I'm honest with you. I don't know why. It seems like they've gone through great lengths to give at least Keragen Overlords and Fire Slayers their own cultures and personalities and stuff. More so than like ogres and that kind of thing. So I can't say for sure. I don't know. I have no insight from the company. They don't tell me nothing, but that's my wild guess is probably not going to happen. Okay, just get this part here. Our boys buffed up can be devastating. Yeah. Okay. I wish City of Secrets was an audible item, not a strong reader. Yeah, I'm not the strongest reader either, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Specifically when it comes to reading things out loud, like I swear each of those Broken Realms short stories where I read the story, it takes forever for me because I read faster than my tongue can pronounce the words, and I just get jumbled up. Never was a very strong reader, but I'm going to keep at it because if nothing else, I'll get better at it, right? A little self-improvement. Let's see. Blood Bowl is perfect chaos. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely is. Doug, have you read Dark Harvest? Dark Harvest, Dark Harvest. Why does that sound familiar? I don't think so. I can't think of the plot. Dark. It sounds so familiar. I don't know what's the plot again. The basic, without spoilers, whatever. I don't know why it sounds so familiar, but I cannot think of it. Let's see. Dude, what happened to your idea of Seraphon? I was ready to send you my Seraphon 2,000 point army. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not. Did you message my personal thing or the 2+ tough thing? I did not see that. I apologize. No, honestly, with Seraphon, real talk, I just got burnt out. That was not long before we were gonna move, and I just lost motivation for painting projects. I'll be honest with you, there was so much stress going on with our cross-country move during the plague times, as I'm calling it. But yeah, I apologize. I try to respond to everybody. Hey Doug, what do you think of the newly announced Anniversary Stormcast model? Yeah, if you guys have not seen that model, go check it out. He's basically, it's like is it a Decimator captain? It's something like that. One of the Paladin captains for a Stormcast Eternal. He's carrying a Minotaur head, like he just lopped it off. It's such a cool model. I love it. I don't really care for those kinds of limited models, but in terms of like, if somebody comes into the hobby a couple months from now and doesn't understand like how the system works as far as limited time stuff, they could be like, why can't I get this cool thing that I like, I don't know. Maybe if they did more made to order, like, last year's models or something like that, the exclusive ones. But the model itself, all of those exclusive models, they're always so cool looking, with the exception of Primaris Lieutenants that all look the same to me. But yeah. The Age of Sigmar ones have always, I think, been really, really good. Because the last one, I think, was the dude who had his mega hammer on a crushed orc's head or something like that. Like, oh, that was cool. A little bit of a flex pose. Palace Guard up, ended up trading them for KO. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I honestly didn't mean to ignore you. I promise. Let's see. I feel like I'm falling behind the chat because I can't look at it while I'm doing this. Been playing AOS against myself during the lockdown. 3 matches, 4,500 points apiece. Whoa! That's huge! That's a huge game. I love it. I mean, is it taking you multiple days and sessions, Wargamer Rolly? That's awesome, man. You have fun. That's the thing I like about miniature games is like, with a lot of other stuff, it might be kind of lame or boring to try and find some way to play a one-player game. But with this, like, man, the second you introduce dice, it's just like, the best. You could have your best laid plans just fall apart anyway. Let's see. Where am I at? Been playing AOS. Anonymous Plays Lives. Hello! Hard Boys for Chaos Warriors. Brutes for Rad Ogres. That would be a great one. Savage Orcs from more rank and file. Yeah. Hey Doug, been playing Space Hulk Tactics on PS4. So hard but very fun. Think I'd enjoy a new Space Hulk board game. I've never tried Space Hulk, to be perfectly honest with you. I know it's like one of their like old school like flagship games that really put Games Workshop on the map. But I just never got me. Although I've heard that isn't there a video game version? It's kind of like the Tide idea of just dudes coming at you nonstop. I don't know. I'd be willing to try it. Let's see. Our boys can be buffed. Yep, so devastating. Absolutely. Hey Doug, glad to catch you live. How many submissions did you get for the lore contest? Oh, great question. I'm sorry. Yes, I did get a bit rattled during the holiday season. So there were a total of, I think, 41 total submissions, which is awesome. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to dive into them. I've gone through, I think, 9 so far. Great stuff. There's a lot of cool ideas from the realm of Grr that I'm excited to make videos for. I was really happy that it wasn't like 2 people. I was kind of worried when it got a little specific that some people would be like, nah. But even the people who didn't participate were like, this is a cool idea, I just don't want to write about Grr, and then I'll catch the next one. I'm like, okay, cool. That's a fair opinion to have. I just picked Grr because it's my favorite realm. And it is selfishly as it is. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. People are asking about the terrain. Yeah, no, this is actually for Warcry and or Frostgrave whenever I start playing that, which I want to because it's a cool fantasy game. Essentially, it's going to be put together as a big tower, which I'll show you here in a sec when I get all the pieces done. And I wanted to create a city scene for my Warcry games. Yeah, I honestly, I don't really like the whole thing where they tell you how the terrain on the board is laid out. I like making my own boards. So I just kind of ignore that part, to be perfectly honest with you. Because one of the campaigns for the Corvus Cabal, which is the faction that I like the most aesthetically, basically pits them in a city, and they're trying to like dismantle, you know, the leadership of the town and kind of take it apart from the inside out, that kind of stuff, and rule the city. And all the short story that they have in their novel makes them seem like they're always leaping from rooftop to rooftop. But, you know, in the core Warcry set and even Catacombs, like, you can't do that because none of the buildings are all that big. And so, another shout out here, 3D Egos is a terrain printing company. I have a link to them down below and a coupon code that'll save you 25% off on stuff. But essentially, I wanted to create a city. And so I have like, what, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 tall buildings that I can pull together to make like a little, you know, a block of a city. It's obviously not going to be like a full, you know, 6x4 thing, but pull enough stuff together to put together a cool little town section. And then I can have my dudes fight rooftop to rooftop, and I'll make some different kinds of walkways and catwalks and that kind of stuff so we can go roof to roof of buildings. And that way, like, you know, opponents who aren't spec'd into rooftop Batmaning parkour still have an opportunity to have fun because, you know, there's plenty of walkways and that kind of stuff. So that was my idea anyway. But yeah, I don't know, even since day one, once I saw that, like, Warcry tells you how to build your table, I was like, I don't care about that. That's one of those things that should be a player freedom. Sweet. Throw this over here. So I apologize if there's something my chat is got away from me. So I'm just going to start what I first see, and if I missed your question, go ahead and ask it again. I apologize. I don't want to miss anybody, but yeah. Lord Vladik, glad to see. What am I painting? I'm painting kind of like a watchtower thing right now, is what I'm thinking it is. And it's turning out pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Gotta be careful near the stonework here. 3D printing is great for this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doug, what do you think the next book will be for in the Broken Realms, like Morathi? I don't know what the next one will be. I imagine based on the orc lore bits that we got that there will be a Broken Realms, Gordrak or something that centers around him. Again, we don't know if they're gonna like stick with character names as the archetype, or if they're just gonna kind of like, oh, it's Morathian, now it's gonna be Broken Realms, a city name or something like that. But yeah, I do think, hopefully, in my opinion, it should be something with Gordrak. Why? Because the last book, as cool as it was, and I do love it, it had absolutely nothing for destruction, which is fine. I'm not one of those proponents that thinks that every book has to satisfy every faction, but I do think that there are enough destruction players to warrant maybe take a break from the story of Van Brecht and Morathi to be like, what are the orcs doing? Because Gordrak's making some moves, and that's rad. Let's see. Just trying to get the little nooks and crannies. Not super worried about detail at this point. We're just throwing down the base colors. Cody Griffin, Frostgrave, good. Thinking of using Fantasy Dwarfs to play it. Oh, yeah. So Frostgrave, I played 2 games of it. I really do like the system. What I like about it is that it's great for storytelling. And what I mean by that is, if you're not familiar with Frostgrave, essentially you have one character, like one uber character, who is essentially like a sorcerer. And he is trying to go into a land to collect resources for his magics and that kind of stuff. Everything else that you have at your disposal is like hired hands, and you can keep them, you can dismiss them and hire new ones and all that kind of stuff. And that's how it works sort of as a campaign function. I would definitely say the strength of the game is as a campaign system, not so much as like a one-off game thing. But yeah, that's the basics of it. And so what I like about that is, you can really develop one character and kind of push that to its limits. And then everybody else, you can add backstories to them if you want, but you don't lose anything because they are nobody mercenaries. So it's very character driven. I like that kind of stuff in a game. What else about Frostgrave? Yeah, I mean, it's just a very easy system to get into, if I'm honest with you. Like you can read the rule book in an afternoon and just have a very firm grasp of like, okay, so this is how modifiers work, this is how rules work, boom, you're good to go. And honestly, that's a strength, if I'm honest, because there's so many games that are just so hard to understand. Or I should say games that like they're complex on paper. Like I was, we had our big Soulbound game last night that I talked about earlier. And, on paper, it looks very daunting to build a character list. But then the second you actually start putting the pieces together, you're like, okay, I'm getting it, right? I'm smelling with the book stepping in. I got it. And then all of a sudden it starts clicking in your head. Whereas like with Frostgrave, I would say like pretty much immediately when you read the book, you're like, ow, I got this. There may be some corner case situations that are a little awkward, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, if you already have models and you're just like, how can I use more of these guys? Like I'm pretty much doing with these things. That's a really good way to go. I think if I do Frostgrave, I'm going to use, oh man, what is his name? Probably get some Empire free guild units and then use my... It's not Corvus Cabal. What are they? Cypher Lords, the leader of the Cypher Lords warband, as my mage because he just looks so over the top. He's very extra, and I love him for it. Palscard01. Oh, buddy, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. You and Cody, man, that is just the craziest nice people. Thank you. So yeah, Cody picked the topic of Frostgrave. Palscard01, do you have a topic you want to pick? That's always the benefit of throwing a couple dollars in the tip jar. What's the scale for Frostgrave? Yes, there is no scale, as Brent pointed out. Thank you, buddy. there isn't. It's just literally, you could play with GI Joes if you want. I mean, it would be huge. It might take up your whole freaking living room, but that's kind of what's nice about it. You can use literally whatever you want, which makes it great for, you know, companies who are doing third-party miniatures and that kind of stuff. You can really go nuts finding, you know, your ideal leader and that kind of stuff. So Junius01, sorry I missed this. Any plans for doing more hobby hangouts with some other YouTubers like you've done in the past? Always enjoy conversations between multiple YouTubers. Yes, actually, one of my resolutions for 2021 is to do more stuff with other YouTubers, if I'm totally honest with you. It's just, it's one of those things. I've had a situation in the past, I'm not going to name names, don't ask, where, you know, I had someone on, and then I saw them acting like really crappy to people afterwards. Like on Facebook and private forums and that kind of stuff, and I was like, that sucks. Like, I don't want to do anything with you again. And so, yeah, I don't know. That kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. So I kind of paused that for a smidge, and I was like, yeah, I can worry about this when I really put some thought behind it. But yeah, no, that is absolutely a resolution. I want to interact more with other people. Some people that I really do like in the hobby. You got, like, you know, obviously Warhammer Weekly. I'm part of a Facebook group with those guys. Very cool people. Loremaster Sotek. He does more Total War stuff, but I just like him as a human. There's a whole bunch. So my problem is I don't want to name anybody, because then whoever I miss out will be like, oh, I thought Doug liked me. But you know, it's hard when there's so many awesome people out there who are doing cool stuff. Dice Saga is a great battle report channel. Obviously, Rerolling Ones are my buds, but they were very different kinds of battle reports. Okay. All right. So, let me see. Make sure I didn't miss any parts with the brown here. I'm not super worried about under the stairs, but we'll throw some brown in there just to kind of, just so if you look at it at the right angle, it doesn't look like gray plastic. How about that? Or black primer, I mean. There we go. All right. I think we are about good here. And so essentially what I'm going to do is let the brown dry, because I didn't dry brush it. But yeah, let's see. I'll show you all what it looks like when it's all put together here. Oh, I missed a door. That's why I got to spin it around and check about 1,000 times. Oscar01, I just want to say you're huge in Australia, and I got 4 of my friends to subscribe. Oh man, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Oh man, that's awesome. That made my day. Makes my day when people are like, thank you. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's so many creators out there who, I don't know, seem to think that YouTube's going to make them rich, and that's simply not the truth. But when someone's like, hey, genuinely thank you for providing this for me, like, oh, it makes my heart happy. People are always so kind. Honestly, I was so nervous when I first started that, like, people were going to be dicks to me online. If I'm, you know, I'm, believe it or not, I'm quite self-conscious. And I just wasn't sure. Let's see. So I think this thing would go here, because there's a ladder part that I haven't put on yet. And that means this guy would go here. Yeah, okay, I'll show this off here. So yeah, it's like a little watchtower. I like this little silo green thing on the side. And then there's a front door, which you can see down there. Apologies for the reach. It's just a little awkward to try and hold together. There's the back side and the side with the secondary door. Now, I was thinking I'm probably going to glue these 2 top pieces, because if you want, you can get in there and move the model around. And you can see there is a ladder way. I guess you can't really see it that well. Throughout all the pieces, there is like a ladder hole that we can drop a ladder into, which is cool. Berg. Lord Veldic, where did I get this stuff? Yeah, if you look in the link in the description, it's for a company called 3D Egos. And if you use my coupon code, you get 25% off. It doesn't cost you anything else like to use that. It just lets them know I sent you, and it gives me a little bit of a kickback. But none of that cost is transferred onto you. And yeah, it's really cool. Let me actually, if you guys are looking for something cool, let me show you something. Okay. So I did this on a charity stream. When was it? December? This building is my absolute fave. This light doesn't do it any real justice. If you go to my community tab, I took some like more professional pictures of it and showed off what it was like. You have a cool little tower side. Yeah, I really like this quite a bit. And so yeah, I painted it up for a charity stream, and it's been awesome. And then in a tutorial to kind of show off, they asked me to do a painting tutorial to kind of show off their stuff. I did this. This is like a blacksmith. This roof bit comes off. I should really glue down the kiln. But yeah, you got a little tool wall. I'm going to do some special effects on the kiln, which is why I haven't glued it down yet. And then this just slides right over it. Locks right down. And it'll be pretty cool. Imagine Corvus Cabal from the blacksmith's roof. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, their prices are super reasonable already. I did a great video collaboration with them. And I was like, hey, so I reached out to them just asking questions about the terrain. And then they were like, oh, we know who you are. And asked a few questions about the channel and stuff. And yeah, we just kind of hit it off and had a great time. So let's see. Yeah, this is another building here. I think I'm going to paint it similar to the other one, but just a hair different in terms of the outside wall color. So I haven't quite decided on that yet, but we don't have to. It's kind of the nice thing about this. Let's do that. Let's do that just to make it look a little different, because the other stuff I have is kind of reminiscent of the thing I just painted. So let's do that. So we'll switch back to our dry brush. See you later, Hugh. Have a great day. Let's see. Give me just a moment here. I'm just looking at the chat here. Cody. Thanks, Brent. Last question. Mages. Typical wizards, or can I have a melee beast mage? I believe there are like self-buffing things to make it so that you can have a melee monster. Like, because you can pick different spells and that kind of stuff, and your wizard tends to have the highest stats. So if you're feeling risky, you can absolutely turn him into a juggernaut, right? Like full up, straight from the X-Men movies. I'm the juggernaut, right? Like that kind of stuff. I believe that is possible. Don't quote me, but I think so. I haven't, so they have like a second edition for Frostgrave that I haven't bought. I just have the first edition one, and there was a way in that to kind of make a more monstrous melee version, and I can't imagine that they would redo the game and not, not include some of the options that were there. I find on the whole, people who, make second editions of the game really try not to make things worse. Okay. Now, one question that was asked when I did my big live stream where we painted that building was, how come I always choose gray for my bricks? Why don't I choose like red brick or that kind of stuff? And actually, the answer is very simple. I want my buildings and my terrain to be firmly background material. Like, because if you have all different kinds of colors, for me, the table gets very busy, and I always want the focal point, the center of it. The whole reason we're here is the models, the actual units on the table, not so much the terrain. But, yeah, that's my opinion. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Let's see. Palace Card 01 took a year to catch one of your live streams, but it was worth it. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Wargame Really. That's very kind of you. Doug, you're the best. Help me get through AOS. Aw, thank you. Thank you. Y'all are too kind to me. During this lockdown, we need more awesome content to view at home. Yeah, absolutely. No joke. My wife and I, we are true crime fans, and I'm pretty sure we binged every crime show that is out there. Speaking of content, I was like, I need more. It sounds weird to be like, there's got to be more bad things out there I can learn about. Which is like a super dark view of the world, but you know, it ain't wrong. And like a dingus, I already glued this one down. So what I'm going to do is basically just pick out some of the rocks, and I might even dry brush on some wood there. I'm not really worried about that down section. I can't imagine people really trying to put their models in there, but we'll see. Cody says, Doug, you're the worst. That's what my wife says. In jest, 100% in jest. She's the sweetest. It's mainly because I make a hobby of trying to annoy her until she gets fed up with me. Because what is a marriage if you don't, playfully torture your spouse, right? Someone who you can just really annoy all the time. Give you an example. I tend to be a cat person. I love dogs. I do love dogs, but frankly, I just don't have the time to be a really good dog owner, take him out for walks, all that kind of stuff. What I like to do is just sit down there and just play with the cat to the point where it annoys the crap out of my wife, and she's like, "You're the worst. Go away. Go upstairs. Take your cat. Go upstairs. You can praise him somewhere else." I'm like, but Finn's the best. He needs to get all his praise and cuddles and that kind of stuff. Go away. Oh man. Let's see. 4 minutes behind just got to the newest short story in my email. Ooh, cool. Love that style. Those buildings are gorgeous. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead and check out the guys over at 3D Egos in the comments. They are, or not in the comments, in the description. They're really cool. The reason I opted for the, because I don't do a whole bunch of sponsorships on the channel, to be perfectly honest. The reason I decided to go with them is because they offer full support. If you get your product and something's broken or missing, they'll just replace it for free. If something needs to be replaced, they can, just do just shipping or something like that. Work with you and that kind of stuff. It matters to me. Because my thing is just I don't know about you guys. My worst fear is just buying hobby stuff and then regretting it for some reason. I had a full set of terrain. It was one of those collapsible gaming tables where it's like a 6x4 and it folds apart, and I got it and I was like, I do not like this thing. Straight up. It was clunky, it was creaky, it made so much noise, it took up so much room even when it was folded up, and I was just like, I do not like this. So I never wanted to have that again where I was like, I straight up regret a purchase for my hobby. It's one of those things. Let's see. Let's see. Is that something you're willing to do? Let me find your question here. That'd be so good for Mordheim. Absolutely. Palscart, my friend just asked if we can fly me over to Australia for a game of AOS when COVID is over. Actually, that is on my, I guess not bucket list, but to-do list. Is I really want to go to the South Coast GT. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Basically, I want to hang out with all my friends in Australia, chief among which is AOS Coach, who is another YouTuber that we've already talked about doing some stuff together this year. Guy's a heartthrob in this community. I'm telling you, he's the best. Because where I focus more on lore stuff, he is extremely good at doing interviews and that kind of stuff for tactics and getting the most out of your faction, and not like in a hyper competitive way, but even just like having good expectations of what your units can do, even in a casual game, just makes things more fun. And I think he's the best at that. So yes, to answer your question very clearly, I would love to go to Australia, to be honest with you. I mean, honestly, sounds like you guys got more control over COVID than we do here in the States. So I could go pretty freely, and then I would just have to be like in severe lockdown when I came back, because that's just the way the world is. I'm kind of curious what, because I mean, I have traveled to other countries before, and it's always very interesting what people think of Americans. You know, when they only see our news, which God help us. But yeah, it's interesting. I'll just leave that there. That's my nugget for the day. It is interesting when people encounter Americans. Oh man. Okay, so these buildings are a bit more tricky because when I'm doing these kinds of things, what I like to do is work from the deepest, shallowest thing up, so you don't have to repaint stuff. So in this case, it would be the stone and then the actual walls of the building, because then after that, one level up from that is the trim, the actual wooden frames. And so I'm going to go ahead and start that building up. Now, for my last one, I'm still going to make it look rustic and worn out like I did with the other building. Let me pull the side off here and I'll show you. So yeah, for this one, that light doesn't really do it justice here. Let's see if I can find... This might be better. A little less harsh for you guys. Oh yeah, now you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. So for this, it's just Ushabti bone with a wash, and then you just stipple back Ushabti bone. And so it kind of makes that worn, messy look, which I love. So I'm definitely going to do that. The question for the chat is, what color should it be? I don't want to do Ushabti bone again. I want to do a different one. But friends... help me paint my house. I need a wall color and I need a shingles color to match it. So, I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, choose now and whoever, I don't know, donates the most gets to choose. I'm not doing that. But what I will say is that I need help choosing, and my fate is in your hands. Ooh, a warm orange. Warm orange. So that'd be like squig orange. Would that be a warm one, I guess? Oh, there's Jakaro orange. I guess, technically Bugman's Glow is a little bit halfway there. I mean, I could tell you about my counter, but it doesn't paint a good picture. Oh, that's funny. Cyan/blue shingle. I've done the blue shingles before on my on the core Warcraft terrain. Oh, Warcry terrain, and it looks pretty good. Oh, not with orange walls though. Yeah, that's a fair point. Well, I mean, they're contrast colors. They're on each other's ends of the spectrum. I do not know. Let's see. We could do. Let me look up some old-timey cottages. Let's see. Type in cottage. It will look like. Oh yeah, the Denver Bronco pub. Here, I'll tell you what, we'll do a share screen here. We'll take a look at some cottages. So yeah, this is kind of what I've already got going on. Like maybe this is like the nice new version of my rundown one that I already have. We got, that's still a beige wall, but I kind of like the slight tint green with the roofing there. Here's this guy, so it's kind of a reddish. Yeah, that would be a warm orange, you know. And but they put like plants all over. I can't quite see what the roof is. Maybe I don't want to do a straight brown roof because in the model itself, this floor is going to be showing, so it's going to be a lot of brown if I do the roof and the floor and all that kind of stuff, and the trim, you know. Here's it, and it's still kind of a beige. I'll throw my chat on the side here so I can actually see what you guys are saying. I don't know what Tauren. What is that? All I got is a Warcraft thing. Oh, I see what you're saying. Warcraft minis game. That'd be rad. Do we have anything? Oh wait. No, because my walls don't have that cool shingling effect. Let's see. Straight salmon. Michael B. What would you pair with salmon color? Yeah, they're all. Why is it? I mean, I didn't think I was like, you know, being super original when I made my combination of a beige wall with a kind of red tinted roof, but I also didn't think that it was like apparently fantasy standard. Yeah, because this is basically exactly what I have. I like it. You know, it's fine. Let's see. I do kind of like the green, so let's settle on that. We're going to have the roof and the shingles be that kind of like a dark green type, kind of like, well, it's a Minecraft house, but you know what I mean. Here's probably a better example. It's got a little green hue to it, but I'm just trying to think. Honestly, I might just go back to the beige again, maybe just a different kind, like instead of Ushabti Bone, maybe do like Streaming Skull or something like that. With salmon walls, you'd pair an asparagus roof. Exactly. I think I'm just going to do that because, again, a lot of these are looking samey. Here's a mushroom house. I want to live there. That sounds rad. Yeah, okay. Ooh. Smog Town coming in clutch. XV88. Do I have that one? I think I do. Give me one sec here. Aha. I do. That is that's a, you know what, buddy? You win. Christopher, Xandridus for my walls? Yeah. Yeah. They're very similar for sure. Okay. Just a second to get my chat resituated. Yay! Yep. All right, I think I'll just stick with this lighting setup. It seems to look a lot better on camera, so apologies. Yeah, Xandridus is a great choice. Unfortunately, I'm kind of using all mine for my Legion stuff because I'm painting a droid army right now. But yeah, I do like it. I have a the big droid tank drying right now off camera. So what I like to do, and I'll show you how this all works. Basically, I'm going to sloppily, emphasis on sloppily. I'm going to put a bunch of XV88 on here, take a way too much water to thin it down so it's like soupy and gross, and just slather the hell out of these walls, okay? Then you let that dry, and it'll take a bit because it's like somewhere between a glaze and a paint, like a layer. And then when it dries, you very sloppily cover it in a wash. In this case, I'm probably going to do Agrax or Sepia with that color. And then you go back with your original XV88, and without thinning it down at all, you literally just stipple. Just keep tapping like that. Just stab. And what it does is it builds that color back up. And that's how I was able to get that really like textured, worn look here. Like you see the edges are really gross. That's where it's a very thinned out Ushabti Bone with wash on it. So you create some really cool effects that way. Let's see. Janitor P, do you think there will be an FAQ? FAQ for what? I'm curious. I do not follow, my friend. Yeah, we get it to where it's like watery and runny and kind of looks like baby diarrhea, you know, as XV88 often does. I've always said that. Even that's still a bit too much. That's the thing, is Ushabti Boneworks a little bit just because it's there we go. We actually want the streaks and the nastiness. But I find that Ushabti Boneworks because it thins out really, really well. Let's see. For a Warcry? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what's happening with the winter FAQ? Can't wait for KO Zelfin to... oh, yeah. I just want more point reductions to be... No, I don't know, buddy. You know, I have heard people complaining about the lack of a FAQ. But I will be honest with you, I have not followed the real scene for people who are like actively playing AOS for some time. Like by that I mean, like, you know, I have my Slaves to Darkness I've been painting, I've been really enjoying it, getting into Soulbound and that kind of stuff. But as far as like, you know, FAQs and list building for events and that kind of stuff, nah. I think a lot of that is I just really don't like Tabletop Simulator, like in general, just because I like the more social aspects of the game, and so I just haven't really paid attention to any of that. If I'm super honest, so I apologize. I don't know. But yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about the lack of an FAQ lately, and I don't know. I have no information. Like I can't stress enough how little Games Workshop tells me. But I know a lot of people are jonesing for it. But if I'm speaking my own opinion, how about that? My own opinion. Can't stress enough how this is not official. Please do not take this and share it with anybody because it's not a verifiable thing. My sense is I think they're a bit reeling from the launch of the 40K app, or at least the list building portion of it. And so I wonder if a lot of assets got devoted to fixing what's going on there as opposed to anything else. Because 40K is, of course, the cash cow, and that's fine. But that wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay, yeah. So we've got this gross looking, yeah, you can see all those streaks. That's beautiful. That's exactly what we want. We want streaks. Now, I do want to build up a little more color in some of the dark areas, like the little windowsills. But again, it's going to look like garbage, but this is one of those styles where it's just going to look like garbage until it's done, and then it's going to look glorious. So we'll do that. We'll build a smidge more color there. Maybe just tap right there. And all right. Is it Johnny Hate 2+? You're a superstar. Oh, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you. I'll show you. It'll look great. I think this will look good with the like a faintly. I'm not going to go like highlighter, you know, warpstone glow roof. Just kind of a faint tinge to it. I think it'll look great. Anyone have a quick way to paint dark skin? My models are so white they look like an audience at a Dave Matthews Band concert. Actually, I do because Jack from Rerolling Ones made the same joke at me. Not the same joke, but you know what I mean, a similar comment. I do. So what I like to do for dark skin is I use contrast paint. And what I do is I take Cygor Brown and I thin it down like 2:1 with contrast medium and just do all the skin like that. and then go back over with, what's the color's name? Let me get the exact color for you. So I don't lead you astray. I think it's Doombull Brown. Let me just triple check here. Yeah, you can go for Doombull Brown or Gorthor Brown to kind of bring up different tones. But that's essentially what I do. Because the nice thing about the Cygor Brown is it has just that little hint of red in it, kind of like how Doombull does. And it just allows you to really like bring that up, highlight it up. Doombull as a dry brush. Yeah, basically. You can do layers if you really want to, but I would give that a whirl. If you want to see what that effect looks like at the end of it, if you go onto Instagram, you can actually see my Maggotkin of Nurgle. Some of the Blight Kings and the Pusco Blight Lords, they all have dark skin. Or they all have dark skinned guys in their units because, yeah, they were looking a little, I'm going to say, uniform. Dark skin Dryad Bark, Druchii Violet Wash, Gorthor Brown. Oh yeah, that's also a really, I could see that totally working really well. That'd be fast too. Okay, so something that came out during the holidays that I did not have time to talk about was that sweet looking new Slaanesh model. Quite cool looking. Let's see, I think their ceilings would also be similar. Is it the Lord of Gluttony or something like that? I like him. I think that it was a good call to introduce other aspects of Slaanesh other than sex appeal. You know, which is fine. You know, I don't want it to go away because some people really enjoy that aspect of their or aesthetic, I should say. But introducing other stuff, I think, is a good move. If nothing else, it will help mitigate some of the creep factor that some folks get into when it comes to their army lore. But yeah, I think oh man, that does dry pretty dark. Okay. But yeah, I'm pretty hot on it. It looks pretty great. Pain and Gluttony is a good new aspect of Slaanesh for sure. Let's see. Oh my god, Doug, you would love my AOS army. Hard to explain though through text. Grand Alliance Order full of Dwarden for narrative open play, and I changed the faction's keywords to buff Dwarden. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. That's rad. I would totally play against that. One can of worms that I've never wanted to open, if I'm totally honest with you, is Cities of Sigmar, because I want to do like 3 very different and distinct armies there, and I know that I would get sucked in and I would just never find my way out. Shy of like just selling everything at once, just being like, I'm done with this already. Because I definitely want to build, you know, a Dark Elf focused thing. I want to build a Dwarden focused one, and then a free guild. But like, I want them all to be very separate and distinct, with their own heraldry and that kind of stuff. I know that they can work together, but I just like the idea of those different army types. So I'll stick with my my Slaves to Darkness for now, until I think I have the self-control. Although I'll be honest with you, I've been really enjoying painting Legion models lately, so I don't know. Well, maybe that'll help with the hobby ADD, is trying a different game. just really quickly, again, I'm not going to focus too much on the interior of this building because I can't imagine players going in here, but why not? Just making sure I didn't miss any major exterior sides here. I think we're pretty good. All right. Hey, hi, what's up, Brandon? Let's see. New Lord of Gluttony might become an elaborate Horticulus Slimex conversion. Oh, that would be rad. I always wish they did more with Slimex, to be honest. He seems like a very cool character that they just kind of like, you know, just kind of feels like he just got like forgotten. Okay, so I think the biggest pain in the butt's going to be painting the wood boards. Now, for the ones that are all splintered and stuff, I'm actually going to dry brush the ends black again, and then put some like warm, like fire effects. It's almost like it's burning timber, but we'll come to that later. Let's grab our brown and get to it. Let's see. Oh, Small Town, enjoy painting with you. Painting my snake ladies. Aw, buddy, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're too kind. Everybody's too kind to me. Anyone have any info on when Death Guard Codex goes on pre-order? I thought it was next week, if I'm not mistaken. I could be very wrong, though. Like I said, I have not been keeping up with really any hobby news whatsoever throughout the holiday. Just kind of needed to be focused on the Famalam. Let's see. Can anyone suggest a fun counterpoint to Death Rattle / Soulblight to build in order to coerce my girlfriend to play? When you mean like a fun counterpoint, like you want to play Soulblight and Skeletons and your girlfriend wants to not play that, and you want like a good faction to play against Soulblight and Vampires? I just want to clarify your question there before I weigh in, because I'll be honest with you, like if you're just sticking to Vampires and Death Rattle, like that is not exactly OP, so I would say don't worry too much. You know, it's not like you're saying like, hey guys, I really want to play, you know, a full shooting Stormcast army. Is there anything my girlfriend can play that would be fun? You know, or it's just like, no, not the least fun list in the game. Basically what I intend to do is get all my little base layers done with this, and then that'll probably be a good place to end the stream, because after that it's just washes and that'll take forever to dry. And you know, as not averse to doing boring dry brushing on camera as I am, I refuse to be the kind of channel that makes my people watch paint dry. If you want your girlfriend to play Warhammer, just buy a Sylvaneth Star Collecting box. Sylvaneth actually I was actually thinking about that, not because it's for a girlfriend, but because in terms of like, you know, just having Dryads as a good alternative for the Skellies, and there's some really great models in there, some cool heroes to focus on. I know I have a friend whose wife, she's like, you know, I want to get into Age of Sigmar, but the only faction that really stands out to me is Daughters of Cain, and I don't want to play them because I don't want people to think of me as like, oh, that's the girl playing the girl faction, of course. And it's just like, nah, man, nobody cares. And if they do care, that's one less person you have to worry about gaming with, right? I can't fathom someone being like, oh, look at this girl playing the girl faction. It's like, man, people play whatever they want. It is to me far less weird than, you know, the heavy breather creepers who were like, oh, Sisters of Battle. Like, not everyone who likes Sisters of Battle is like that, but there is a contingent of men who are like weirdly into the we'll say the pain penance part of Sisters of Battle, where you're like, ugh. Where'd you come from? Or I should probably put it that they fetishize it. More than just liking the model range, they fetishized it. How about that? I think that's probably a more accurate description. I don't, as much as people have made jokes and comments about me being very calm and chill. I do not come from a calm and chill background. I come from a very aggressive family. And I say aggressive in terms of like their speech and that kind of stuff. And so when I hear stuff like that of like, I don't want to play, this army because I don't want them to think that, oh, it's a girl playing the girl faction, that kind of stuff, as if it's derogatory. My blood kind of boils and I immediately turn to my mother. I'm just like, who the F are you? Nobody asked your effing permission. Man, we cuss like sailors in my family. We go, we find that escalation in language and temperament is a waste of time. That's why we go 0 to 11. Let's see. Oh, hey, Nagash. Hey, hope all is well. What and where is that terrain from? Yeah, buddy, if you check out the link in the description of the video, it's for a company called 3D Egos. Awesome dudes out of California. And, yeah, they printed this up for me, and I did, if you watched the live stream I did for charity, over the holidays, I think I did it like early December. Actually, yeah, I think it was like December 2nd. We painted up that big old house, and that was kind of fun. I find it hard to imagine you cussing. Oh, that's kind of you. I am proficient and enthusiastic about my language choices when I get riled up. It's funny, I come from a family where we use a lot of profanity, but we never used it in anger. Like, I distinctly remember like the times where we got frustrated with one another, there wouldn't be a cuss word. It was only when we were laughing or having fun, and and that's just a strange thing. And I guess that's not obviously the norm for people, but it was just a lot of joking and laughing and stuff. But yeah, no, the reason I don't cuss on the channel, to be perfectly honest, is, well, the second I realized I wanted to do it professionally, the truth of the matter is, people who don't mind cussing will never be turned away by the fact that you cuss. But the people who do will be turned away by the fact that you cuss. And so I just had to have a deep think about what I want the channel to be and that kind of stuff. And at that point I had gotten a very sweet letter that I still have saved, or a letter, it's an email. Oh my God, I sound like an old man. From a guy who was just like, hey, listen, I'm a dad. I don't have a lot of time to hobby, or he's a single dad rather. And it's just really nice that I can put your stuff on and not have to worry about my kids, hearing it and that kind of stuff. And, he puts his kids in the car and then drives around, doing errands and that kind of stuff, and they fall asleep to my voice, which, I've gotten that quite a bit. He's like, I don't have to worry about profanity or anything like that. I was like, you know what? If the simplest choice of just choosing not to cuss enriches that dude's life even just a hair, what an easy choice to make, right? Come on. What an easy choice to make. Make someone happy. You'd be surprised how easy it is. and that's why I don't cuss on here. And you know, I mean, it's, you know, I have guests and they will, but I, you know, I asked everyone to keep it easy on the cussing, but that's their prerogative. I can't, you know, I can't imagine that same dad driving around his kids watching me play Vermintide, you know, that kind of stuff where it's like, okay, this is a format where we can chat a bit more casually. Let's see. Oh man, I fell way behind on my chat. I'm so sorry. I was like, I don't recognize any of these comments. I'm trying to find my place here. Michael B. I'm just going to start here at Michael B. And if I missed your thing, go ahead and please throw it in the chat again. I apologize. Like I said, I'm trying to paint stuff, but I don't think she needs ladies just like solid gameplay. It's just not a bummer. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Kaysmin Animations? Thank you, Doug. Really appreciate you saying that. Very few armies until recently had a mix of genders. So as a girl wanting representation, it usually delves into an all-female army. Yeah, totally. And that's, you know, I mean, man, it's one of those, representation is one of those very interesting things where if you have to explain why it's important, the person you're explaining it to will probably never understand it. And I don't say that like in a rude way. There are just some things in life that you can't articulate to people, you know, no matter how hard you try. Like, there are people who live in very rough circumstances, but man, if you can't make them want more in their lives, they have more stability, more security, more love, comfort, you know, those kinds of things, it doesn't matter. You can't. And so I don't say that as a derogatory thing. That's just, that is a trouble on an individual level. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, I truly believe that representation is important. And honestly, and I mean that in all factions, like, you know, my way I look at it, to be honest, is the setting of 40k and AOS are about the most dire of circumstances, right? The Imperium's crumbling and falling apart from the endless, terrible, horrible, awful, no good, very bad things that are surrounding it and in it because they're not good guys. And then in AOS, you know, the world is basically consumed in darkness, and the forces of order represent like pinpricks of light in a sea of hell. My point being that if that's the truth, then at any given point in both of these settings, it is a constant state of all hands on deck, right? No one sits out because they're a girl and they have to go with the girl unit. It's like, hey, do you have two hands and you can hold a gun? Cool. What's that? You don't have hands? I don't care. We'll find something that you can use to pull a trigger with. We'll just strap a Gatling gun to your wheelchair. Who cares? You know? Or it's just like every man, woman, and child, like, you need to know how to survive. And so, like, I just never understood why people were resistant to representing that. I was like, doesn't that just make the stakes go higher if everyone, like, you know, like, hey son, you turned 13 today, so here's a gun, right? Like that. Defending the homestead is your job now. Why? Because I'm 25 as your dad, and I'm, you know, middle-aged. My life expectancy is like ends at 32. You're just like, oh man, too much pressure. But yeah, absolutely. Oh man, let's see. Let me see. I'm sorry, I lost my place again. Of course I did. Oh, enjoy painting with you all. Let's see. Gosh. Oh, no, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Working really as nice as you are kind. Oh my gosh. No, that's far from the truth. Winter Soldier, Blood for the Blood God. Hey, hey. If you think sisters are fetishized, you should see the stuff that they do with demonettes. I tend to avoid those types of websites, but I respect what you're saying. Can I just say, I got the drift, right? There's so many things in this world where I'm like, I don't really fully understand. I'm going to say the depravity of what you're describing, but I get the gist, and I'm just going to tap out there and say, that's enough. I used to volunteer with troubled teens and that kind of stuff, and it's just one of those things that teenagers do. They just want to shock you with how cool they are and that kind of stuff, and it's just like it never works because I don't care. But the strongest lesson, I was like, if someone starts talking real creepy and you start to get the sense that it's about like a sexual thing and you're just like very uncomfortable, just be like, I get the gist. You can stop. Just shut them down. Let them know that, like, whoever's talking to them being creepy and weird, just be like, nah. Like, I think that's the most powerful word in the vocabulary of youth right now. It's just, nah. Because if you can show complete disinterest in something, you can shut down some real uncomfortable conversations. All right, so we're just tracing out all of this stuff here. My 5-year-old loves Sylvaneth, and she came out with a blue color scheme for them. Armies that aren't traditionally blue, that are painted as such, for some reason, they just always catch me as striking. Like, I like the idea of a blue Sylvaneth, absolutely. My favorite one that I saw was a guy did, I don't remember. I think his army name was something like Cold Rage or something. I think it was for 40k, but it was a Khorne demons army that all the demons were blue. And so the idea was like, traditionally Khorne is about like flames and red and rage, but it was like a cold rage. And so they were supposed to be very like calculating, intelligent demons. And I was like, oh, that is rad. Way to bring your color into it. I was just like, oh man, that's cool. Loved it. People want different things out of fantasy. Some people want to see some form of themselves in the world. Some want to escape where they are. Both are valid. Absolutely correct. Yep. I mean, and I think that's a great question to have, I mean, or a great discussion to have with, especially a gaming group, if you're looking to get into fantasy and that kind of stuff, where it's just like, what are we doing here? What do we want, right? We want more traditional female characters that have strong female leads. Like, honestly, Lord of the Rings is fantastic for that. Like, there's some awesome, I would get stabbed by, what is it? What are they called? Nazgul, just to ride along with Liv Tyler like Frodo did. Yeah, absolutely. She's baller. Be sitting there like, what is it? Arnold Schwarzenegger from The Predator, just like exposing my chest, ready to get stabbed by a Nazgul. Do it! I want a free ride with... what's her bucket? Liv Tyler. But that is just one kind of fantasy. Sorry, I kind of trailed off there for a hot sec. I was just making sure I got this line straight. But that is one type of fantasy where it's like, in Tolkien's world, decidedly women, it's more realistic in the terms of they're not the warriors and that kind of stuff. They stay home with the kids and protect the women and children. And then you got some stuff in AOS where it's just like Alariel is the embodiment of purity and womanhood and power, and she's just like kicking teeth, and it's just like, oh yeah, she's a baller. I get the gist, but it didn't help my eyes when people post that stuff in Facebook groups. Yeah, I get that. I get it. Palace Guard 01. Doug, just don't say female and / women Space Marines. You're going to get so much hate. Oh, I've talked about that on the channel before. Yeah. I even got a personal thank you from one of my patrons for it too. Just like, I mean, and honestly, my angle on it, it didn't come down to there should be women because women. It's more just every time Games Workshop writes a codex, they reinvent the lore and retroactively make things. My argument is, if you guys know the unit Centurions, when those first came out, those are like the Space Marine within a Space Marine type armor guys. And what I had said was simply like, when those models dropped and the codex came with them, and they were like, oh, these guys have always been here. And players were like, your guys who, for some reason, see the lore of 40k as a holy text that cannot be changed. We're like, well, where have they been this whole time? It's like, well, the codex said they've always been there. And that means they've always been there because it's the most recent codex. Otherwise, you would never get new units. What are you talking about? And so, my point is just taking that same logic of just, if they ever decided, and I don't know if they will, to be honest with you. I don't know if they, I don't know if they value including female Space Marines enough to change that much with their IP, or at least fight for it. But, if they one day released a codex that said, hey, listen, women have always been able to be Space Marines, then that's just the truth. It is the truth. It is the current truth. And actually, what's funny is so Games Workshop sent me a Space Marines codex to review a while back. And it's a really cool book. Really do like the new 9th edition way that they're structuring rules and that kind of stuff. And what's funny is I was reading through it with that in mind, and there's absolutely nothing in that codex that says there can't be female Space Marines. So I'm like, you guys are setting it up. You're just probably not going to actually come out and say that women can be Space Marines, but you're just going to give it a few years to just chill, let the old ways phase away, and then drop that hammer and be like, oh yeah, it's been in the last few codex. Nothing says you can't be a woman. I was like, you're playing the long game, G-dubs. That's my guess, anyway. They shafted Glorfindel in the movie. Which one's Glorfindel? I don't remember. I'm not a Lord of the Rings dude. I only recently discovered some really cool YouTube channels that cover lore for it. One of them's Nerd of the Rings, and it's amazingly well done. Is that Glorfindel? Is that the female elf lady who, like, when they go to Rivendell, goes like super creep witch lady? She's like, instead of a king, you'd have a queen. Let's see. Which Beastmen kit do you think would be best for converting into Death Guard cultists? Oh, Death Guard cultists. Probably Ungor. They're nice and tiny, so they wouldn't. Because my thought is I would want something nice and tiny because I don't want anything to take up visual space from like Death Guard Marines. Like, they should always look like the biggest, baddest things. And Gore can stand pretty tall. I would probably say Ungor. And also the nice thing about Ungor is their hands and stuff are a bit more normal human sized. At least as far as GW sculpts go. And so that way you can give them like guard weapons or something like that. You can, I think you have a lot more flexibility with them as opposed to Gore. But that's a really cool question. That's a great idea. Okay. Give me, I'm sorry, I can't look at the chat quite yet. I'm just getting these little annoying nooks and crannies in here. Like I said, I was a dingus and sealed that up with glue thinking, oh, I'll never need to get in there. Not even thinking about painting. Alright, I think we are good with the brown. Let me just do a quick little, get the bottom area, that's all good. there. I think we got all the trim. It's just more a matter of places that I missed. Now it's not going to look this dark at the end. We're going to have a green roof and we're going to build that color back up there. So it will brighten up. Glorfindel was the elf hero. He was cut out of the movies. Oh, okay. Age of Nagash, you summarize it well in 4 words, all hands on deck. Yeah, absolutely. And that, you know, that's my thing, is if you're going to have these stories of these big epic stakes and all this stuff going on, why not, you know? Okay, and I did Agrax for the other building shade, but for this one I'm going to do Nuln Oil because I want to have some different kinds of tone to the wood and that kind of stuff. So, building to building. Hey Doug, what do you think would be a good way to do Nurgly green goo for my Plague Monk bases? Thinking like blood for the blood god texture. Oh, they actually have a paint for that. Yeah, what's it called? Nurgle's Rot? Let me see. Yeah, there we go. A technical paint called Nurgle's Rot. You apply it the same way. It is a phenomenal paint. I cannot praise it enough. When I did my Nurgle stuff, I think I went through like 2 pots of this sucker. If you want to see what it looks like, if you look up on YouTube Swamp Bases Warhammer, I think that'll pop it up. It's a Duncan video where he's making a swamp base. And what he does is he puts Castellan green down, so it's a very dark green, and then different layers of this on top of it, so it slowly looks up more like that traditional toxic goo look. Yeah, that's what I would say. I've done it many, many times. It is very cool. Okay, and once I throw this wash on, I think that'll be a good chance to break for the day. Everything will be drying at that point. Let's see. Oh yeah, I mean, I wish every question was that easy to answer. As far as the Nurgle's Rot goes. Oh man. Yeah, so I don't know. A lot of cool stuff going on. It's been a good year. Thank you all for hanging out with me. It was nice. I just wanted to be a little more social today. I was like, you know, holidays got me behind a little bit. I didn't have a video plan, but maybe I'll just hang out with people. And you know what? You are awesome. And for this one, I will get the inside. Let's see. Looking for a question or comment I didn't respond to yet. I feel like Stephen Chan, I feel like you're allowed to have an all-male and all-female army. Totally agree. There's nothing wrong with that. Goliath / Escher. The one argument I agree with is disparity in releases, because Space Marines get a lot of releases compared to Sisters. I guess that's true. I mean, if you're... I feel like... first of all, you're all right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having an all-male and or all-female army. I don't necessarily think that means it should be the norm. You know, the fact that how many all-male armies are there compared to all-female armies, right? And it's just like, but that misses the point. To me, like I said, all hands on deck means most armies should be a mix. And yes, in addition, asterisk, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having more of one than the other. You know what I mean? Like I just, and I say that simply because as someone who just really likes the settings, they're so dire that it's like, man, Are you telling me like they're really like all of these factions are gonna leave half their population on the table? Like, you know, back at home. I meant on the table, but you know what I meant. Like leave them all back at home. Like no. I will duct tape knives to your hands if we need to. You will fight for us, kind of a deal. And of course, there's some factions where that question doesn't even qualify. You know, orcs don't have male-female because they are totally Xenos, and Tyranids the same thing. But like Eldar do, and I think that faction does a pretty good job of mixing up. I guess it's not really genders because they are still alien. They don't really operate the same way we do, but you know what I mean. As a model range, I feel like they do a good job of splitting it up. But yes, no, I don't. I didn't mean to make it sound like I'm against any armies that are just one or the other. That's fine. That's fine. I just meant like for a cohesion of the setting, it just seems like, to me personally, it would make more sense if more armies than not were like, oh crap, everyone get a gun. Let's see. Oh, good. Caught you and Doug on Vermintide, killing those pesky Skaven. Yeah. That was a good time. That's a good little, like, you know, break into Mondays thing, is just killing a bunch of rats. It's I'm gonna say it's the best cup of coffee. Feeling like a warrior god. Because then I mentioned before, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront, where it's just like, then, you know, you go from Skaventide where you feel like a demigod, right? You're just a lord of murder, just hacking and slashing through hundreds of rats at a time. And then you play Battlefront where you're just like an average Joe. You're one of the clan rats. You're like, no. Two sides of the same coin, I suppose. Let's see. Okay. Real Gibraltar. This got flagged for profanity, but I'm going to throw it in there because you have a good point. Everything centers around Space Marines. But again, like we were saying earlier, or at least I was saying, there are other factions. But yeah, you're right, buddy. We can move on from that topic, though, if your people aren't digging it. Cody Griffin, AOS City of Adasa has an elite unit of women called the Lionesses. Oh, that's rad. That is rad. Yeah, I have to say, I think one of my favorite things is the Sisters of Silence. Like they're just kind of a unit. They're just there. They work with everybody, and they're just creepy as hell, and they're awesome. We're just like, daggum. That's how you make a real grim dark lady unit. Just make them scare the hell out of everybody. Finally made it into one of these streams. Just wanted to say thanks for the lore videos. They are fantastic. Aw, thank you so much, buddy. Fire Slayers are the best. Throws that out there. I am sure that Cody will agree with you. Oh wait, there was a door on this one I forgot about. I always forget the doors. I forgot there's like multiple entrances into this thing. And let's see. I want to see Cities of Sigmar replace Anvil Guard that has Fire Slayers. Ah. Sisters of Silence need a real true release. Yeah, I could be cool with that. What a cool army that would be. Because it's not just them, right? They also have other servants with them that would grab people and subdue them and all that kind of stuff. They just kind of shut down psychic stuff. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Doug, how many entries in your lore contest did you receive? I think 42 total. So yeah, I'm about what did I say before? I think I'm 11 into them. Some cool stuff so far. But yeah, I mean, some people, they just modified their stories that they already had written. to be in GER, which is totally fine. So those entries got in there pretty quick, actually, and then others, you know, they kind of built it from the ground up. So it's a cool mix of stuff. Haven't really run into any yet that were kind of what I was afraid of, where it's just like, you know, a whole story, and then at the end they go, "Oh yeah, this isn't GER," right? No, even the ones that modify, you can tell they clearly modified an existing story. They took some time to add some cool details that I appreciated. Okay. That was good stuff. I liked it quite a bit. There's the ones that I read, yeah. Got some orc stories, got some human ones. Let's see. Alan, hey Doug, hope you're doing well. Thanks for everything the last year. Aw, buddy, thank you so much, Alan. That's so kind of you. Jack, I want a city that has a Lumineth 1 in 4 rule. Absolutely. Actually, with how expensive that faction is and how elite it is, I think that would see a big boost in sales for them. And we actually have lore precedent for that. If we, what is it? The Broken Realms short story with the Scourge Privateer, I believe. No, he's an Achillean guy. Where he kills a Lumineth. The Lumineth was just there as sort of like an envoy, like a spiritual leader or whatever. So like they do go out amongst the realms and hang out with other factions. So it's like, oh man, that'd be perfect. Really hoping that's like a soft preview of things to come rather than like Grand Alliance Order, you know, which it is its thing, but you rarely see it. Okay. And with that, we have a lot of stuff painted and drying. Now, hashtag Real Talk, question for y'all. Do you want me to pause on these buildings so you can see them get painted in real time? Or do you care if I finish them off air and then just throw a bunch of pictures? Not so much the watchtower, because that one's just wood and stone. It's kind of uninteresting, but more about this guy. I'm kind of curious. I'll wait for the responses here. I'm just read up on the chat. I feel like the Deepkin shouldn't be in order. Yeah, they're kind of all over the place lately, aren't they? They're kind of having a rough time, if you will. While you guys are deciding that, tell me. Personally, I don't mind if you paint it off screen. Yeah. Tony, what are these from? These are from the Terrain Company 3D Egos. You can check out the description down below for a link to their page. And if you use my coupon code down there, you get 25% off. And they're already not very expensive at all. So it is a solid deal. Answer, I'm always down for more streams. Fair enough. Yeah, I hope to do more streams, to be honest with you. The holidays were just a bit rough. That's kind of where everything started to fall apart. Like I said, I'm just throwing on my sloppy, gross-looking wash. I might actually do some Athonian camo shade just like in some of the corners to make it look like it's starting to rot and has some mildew on it. But I'll do that afterwards. That'll be an after effect thing because we don't want to cover that up with our stippling. Like I said, I know it looks like hot garbage right now, but it will look good in the end. It's just one of those things. One of those styles where you just gotta trust the process, as they say in entrepreneur bullcrap media. Okay. Let's see. Question. Are there any Order armies that wouldn't fit 1 in 4 cities for the cities of Sigmar? Oh, like armies that wouldn't work well together? I mean, even the Seraphon have a sub-faction that, according to their background in their book, works well as emissaries with certain factions of Order. Are there any armies that wouldn't? Well, right now, Deepkin, they ain't looking so nice. I don't know. I gotta think about that. The only things I can think of, they're all the Dark Elf ones. And I mean, and even the KO, as much as I like the KO, like they are kind of they're KO first. How about that? Like anybody else? I have a thought, and this is not original to me, but someone had mentioned they thought that the Broken Realm series is going to conclude in the getting rid of Grand Alliances for that kind of reason. I was like, or at least a shuffling. How about that? A reshuffling of them. I was like, that's an interesting concept. Daughters of Cain would be awkward. Yeah, the 1 in 4 Daughters of Cain thing totally works for the faction that we got in Broken Realms Marathi, because the whole point is that the Daughters of Cain like straight up invaded the city. But that's the only one I can think of. And even then, like everything else in that city is also factions that I would be like, I don't know how Order they would be. Although we do get a cool story about a Scourge Privateer who's like, nah, I'm a good guy. This is all bull. And I liked him a lot. Okay, and then once this washes down, I'll go ahead and close out the stream. If anybody has any last topics you want to chat about, go ahead and throw them in. If not, save them up. We'll catch it next time. Like I said, I hope to do a lot more live streams here this coming week, just because I like hanging out with people. Honestly, it helps motivate me, you know? It's easy to get lost in the thing of like, you know, I produce a video and I throw it out there, and the only real feedback I have is like comments and likes and whatever, views, that kind of stuff. So it's just nice to be reminded, like, hey, you know, I'm hanging out with people. People are what matter. People are what always matter when it comes to these hobbies. All right. Oh, totally just stuck my finger in that. Okay, that's all right. Forgot I did the ceiling. So there it is. It looks awful. I'm just gonna straight up say, this thing looks like straight up garbage, baby crap. But once we stipple on the color XV88 back on here again, I promise it'll come together. It'll look rad, and then we'll do the roof, and yeah, pick out some of the trim and stuff like that. It will look really, really cool. So, like I said, it's one of those things. Oh, I'm a dingus. I gotta. Never mind. I'll pass on that for now. Say at some point I have to put wash down on the wood, but. Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. It meant a lot to me, getting back into the swing of things after the holidays. And I just really appreciate it for each and every one of you. So thank you so much for watching, hanging out, and I look forward to catching you in my next hobby hang. And happy wargaming. If I could figure out how to end this thing. There it is.